YouTube, hey, how you guys doing? Today we're going to be changing an EVO 10, so Mitsubishi Evolution 10, GSR or MR. We're going to be changing the brake pads and rotors. So first things first, to get started to do a how-to, the first things first, you want to take off the lug nuts or loosen the lug nuts so we can take them off when we pull the wheels off. So we're going to do lefty-loosey. I have a key lock on my lug nuts, that's the first thing you want to do. So go ahead and do lefty-loosey and start removing the wheels and lift up the car. Alright, so next things next is I've removed the wheel. It's gone, the rotor's gone. I got the lug nuts on the side. All of my how-to videos. I highly recommend. I have been drinking a lot of BCAAs. But I highly recommend drinking some kind of caffeine to get this is a big workout. A lot of duty, especially if you're doing it by yourself. The next thing is you got to take these little pins out right here. You can buy I think they're called like a tapper or a tap, and you can hang it out. Or you can use an Allen wrench right here, and you just set it up against that and a sledgehammer. And all you do is bang it against that and pop it right out. Okay, so as you can see, here are the pads. This is a pad inside here. That's a rotor right there. And then this is a retainer clip. So you knock these two out with this. You can use, you can start it with a Phillips head with the needle nose, or you can get a tap and then knock these two out. I do recommend putting some cleaner on them, like a degreaser, before you start, and then this thing will pop out. You can actually pop this out before, so you just push on it and it'll pop out before, but I just knocked the pins out and then it came out. So I just knocked the pin here and knocked the pin here. Now you should be able to wiggle these off. But the thing is, for me, we're going to need to remove the caliper and set it aside because we're also removing the rotor because we're replacing the rotors. So let's go ahead and start that process by removing the nuts on the back of the rotor. Alright, so to remove the rotor, very simple. To be honest on this is a very simple project. This is going to be like a 2 or 3. On the back side, right here, there's two 19mm bolts. You remove them, you do lefty-loosey, you remove the lower one and then the top one. Before you do the top one, I try to do everything very affordable. I went to the dollar store and I purchased a rope and just tied it right here. This is holding this brake caliper up so that it doesn't put stress on this line right here. And this does it without, you don't even have to loosen any of this. So all the weight is on this, which I tied up here to my coil spring, so my lowering spring up there. Now we have this free, and I'm able to put the new rotor on. These are special because they have this little gear right here. I can't remember what this plate is, but it was really easy to come off. The other ones, they might be stuck on there, and if they are stuck on there, you do need to get a threaded, I think 8mm depth, I think is what it is, and you can push it out, or you can just bang one side with a hammer, bang the lower side with a hammer, back and forth. So here's the old rotor. I'm going to clean this right here, and I recommend doing the same. You can get just a cleaner spray and clean it in there. I'll do that, and then wipe it down so you guys can see how dirty it is. We are going to need to press these 2 or 4 push rod for the brakes. We're going to need to push those back, and I'll show you how to do those with the giant screwdriver next. Very simple, very simple. So just again, 19mm, tie it up, pull it off. All you literally do is pull it back off and it'll come off. Then here for the brake pads, on the brake pads that were sitting right here, just like that, for these, there's these holes right here, and you put a screwdriver in and pull it one side, pull it the other side, pull it one side, and it comes out. And you guys can definitely see how thin, look how thin that pad was. There's nothing left. So I got all my money's worth out of those. There are these little back keepers that you're gonna want to keep and reuse these. Again, clean these before you put it on there. Just clean everything before you put it on there. So I'm gonna do the cleaning process right now, and then I'll grab the new cross-drilled slotted rotor and put it on. All right, so there is the new rotor right here. As the rotor's put on, people say it needs to go one way or it needs to go other way because it's right here. This is the slot, and then these are the cross-drilled drilled, slotted. The truth is that it doesn't matter which way this goes on, because inside of here there's vanes. That's what these are. They're not directional, they're just straight vertical. If the vanes inside of here were slotted towards one way, that would be the way it goes. In this case, they're just vertical like that, as you can see. Maybe you'll be able to see, yeah, right there. So the fact is that this really doesn't matter which side of the car goes on, but for aesthetics, I like to go this way. I hope that makes sense. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back on. We will now put the caliper over the new and slide in the new brake pads. All right, so now that we got the rotor on there, all I did was untie. I wish I didn't have. All I did was untie this, the string that was holding it up, slipped it over, put the two 19mm bolts back in to hold it in place. Now for the brake pads, see this little arrow on here? That's pointing towards the direction. That's the direction that you want it, where the wheel is spinning. So the wheel is going to be spinning that way. So you're going to put this in like this. And then as for the pad, it should just slip in there. And you can put a little bit of grease. See how it just slipped right through there? So you're just going to want to slip it to the right length. Now you might go, hey, how did you get the brake pad in there so easily? I took a flathead screwdriver, like the length of the Brembo, and then another one of a flathead screwdriver, and pushed it right against there, and then pushed the two pistons back like that at the same time. So I just had one here and then one on the top, pushed down, both the pistons gave in and let the brake fluid be pushed back up in through here. And now that that was pushed up in here, it gave me the ability to slip in the new pads. So now I have all new pads in there. Huge difference. It's gonna look really nice. We'll go ahead and get the spring with the two push pins. So those are the next steps. All right, so you are now looking at the rear of the EVO 10. Right here I've removed the wheel, so my rota, I removed it. Same thing, so these are those little pins right here. We're gonna knock those out. So let's go ahead and knock those back. That's the first thing. All right, so for the rear one, 17mm, 17mm. You gotta remove those two 17mm. And then this one, you can just put the brake caliper and set it up top here. You don't actually have to use the string method, just on the front one. And then there is a 12mm, and it goes right here. With that 12mm, you need to do it so you have more slack with the brake line. Once you receive the slack with the brake line, you can set that up there after you pull it off. The same thing with the rear pins. You pull the pins out, and then you get the old brake pads, throw away the old brake pads, and you get the new brake pads ready. Now, there is an e-brake mechanism right here. See this? And this is like the e-brake pad actually. It's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys know how that is. But when you pull it, you pull the hand e-brake, it expands this. Make sure the e-brake is off, or when you're trying to remove that rotor, it won't want to come off. I don't know if that makes sense to you, because this will be expanded. I do have cleaner all over this right now. But it'll be expanded and it won't allow it to slip off as easy. So now if you have the brake released, it will not be expanded, and it'll allow the brake rotor to come off much easier and slide right off. So if you do have the e-brake pulled up, so the car doesn't roll away, for this section you want to do, you want to remove that. And then you take the new rotor right here, and it is a different rotor. All right, put that on there real quick here. It won't want to go on easy if you have that brake on. So there's a new rotor on. Now we're just going to repeat the steps. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab the caliper, put it back on, slide the new brake pads in. We will compress the single pistons the same way. I can show you guys real quick here. So this will come down like this, slide it over, like that, and then will compress the pistons with the flathead screwdriver again. So we've officially completed this side. You guys can see in there, the wheels are pretty dirty. I'll clean the wheels on here. There's actually old brake dust. That's what all this is right here, all the old brake dust right there. You guys can see that. But as you can see in there, we've completed the new rotors in there. They are black here, and they are black here. As it goes around though, it'll scratch that off and that'll become shiny. That won't stay black, but the inner part right here will stay black. That's what I was looking for. So let's go ahead and reverse the car out real quick here, and I'll do the other side now. So it's going to time to do the driver's side. We'll go ahead and back up the car real quick. Okay, so I've wrapped up with the front one here on the driver's side. With this one, it was all the same. I did have one of these on this one. I removed this 12mm, and then right here is a 19mm. This was backed into the back part right here to remove that, and I kind of had struggled with getting my socket over that, so I backed this one out a little bit with a 19mm, and it gave me the room that I needed for the clearance. And then I was able to pull off the caliper. Again, I knocked these two pins out right here, pin out, and then pulled those out, put the new pads in, put the new caliper on, and we're ready to put the wheel back on. I already showed you on the other side, so we just did the driver's side. Now we'll go ahead and do the rear driver's side and be done, and I'll do a nice little edit for you guys. Alright, same as the one before, so you just take this caliper, you pull it off here and set it up here. This I'm actually didn't even pull off the brake pads, they just fell down. You are going to reuse these two shields right here, so we'll clean them up a little bit to use these two shields. I think brakes are probably the dirtiest job. Honestly, they probably are the dirtiest job. But now I'm ready to pull this one off. Again, I mentioned earlier, you need to come up here and you need to release the e-brake. You want to release the e-brake so that it allows the e-brake inside of here to kind of let this come loose, because once again this thing is stuck on there. I'm going to bang it off. You can use that one screw right here and bolt it in to push these on and off, on and off. I'm just going to take my hammer and bang this one off. Alright, so I've completed the rear one. Perfect. Same thing as the other side. It's time to lower the car down for the last time. So now the car is lowered, and that is how you install cross-drilled slotted rotors on a 2008 to 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. Pretty cool, pretty easy, pretty simple. I'm gonna go ahead and give this car a quick wash, clean up my hands, because you know, hands, dirty hands. And then go ahead and do a nice little edit of the car with the new brakes on. You will see that once I drive the car just for a little bit, this black right here will come off, and I'll show you guys that, and then we'll sign off. Alright, so I've completed the job. This took me actually a little bit longer than I thought. As you guys can see, it's dark outside. In total, this took me probably, I would say about 4 hours, 4.5 hours. So in that case, I'd probably set about an hour per corner of the car. So 4 hours-ish. I always take a little bit more time because I detail as I clean mine with brake cleaner and whatnot. So if you don't really clear like about cleaning things like that, you can probably get it done in 2 to 3 hours. I got a quote on this for someone to buy the parts for me, so OEM parts ish, and install them for me, and they offered a $1,000, so $900 job, $990 is what they offered to do it. This cost me, including the brake pads as well as the brake rotors and then the brake clean, like $280. So that is like a 200% savings, so definitely recommend just doing it yourself. Pretty amazing. That being said, I did get it done. I'll go ahead and show you guys the car real quick. It is dark. Let's see if I can get some lighting on this and do a quick edit. It's pretty dark outside. I'll have to pull the car probably downstairs to do it, but I'll show you. So as you can see, I brought the car downstairs in the lighter of the parking garage here. This is a really cool parking garage I found. I love this. It looks pretty cool. That being said, I'll show you guys what they look like after you've removed. I've gone for a little drive. So as you can see right here, the brakes are starting to wear off and it's starting to become shiny. That one's not fully broken in. I've probably driven a half a mile, so not very far at all. And this one's the same situation where they're just starting to get broken in. So yeah, that's what it looks like. It's awesome. The car's clean and washed. Everything looks really good. Very easy tutorial. Not difficult at all. How you install cross-drilled and slotted brakes on a 2008 to 2015 Lancer Evolution. Car looks really good. It actually, to believe it or not, if your brake pads get really worn out, driving the car feels smoother because the brake pads might wobble a little bit. They might make more noise. So when you put new brake pads on it, the car actually feels like a smoother ride. So if they're making that little squeaking noise, or if you just go down there with a flashlight and look and there's no pad left, get rid of them, get some new ones on. And on top of that, the stopping power is way better. The way that I'm gonna break these in now is I'm gonna go accelerate, full brake on, let off the brake, put on the brake, let off the brake, put on the brake, come to a complete stop, and do the same thing. And then go full acceleration, and then put on the brake, let off the brake, put on the brake, and then hold complete and come to a complete stop, so that the brakes will then sit properly. I'll do to break them in. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Hit the like button. I'll see you in some more EVO videos. I got some more parts to install for it, and I'll see you on some other car videos. See you next time.